the Niners re-signed Tashaun Gipson to a 1-year, $2.9 million deal. He had a really good year. He's had a hell of a career. He's always been kind of this guy who hasn't gotten big contracts and it's sort of been like an afterthought, but then he wins the job, plays all year, intercepts 5 passes, and moves on to the next team, keeps his act. But now that the Niners have kept him around, he's a playmaker. What do you think of this?
I thought that's what was going to happen because, I like Ward. I would have probably preferred Ward personally, but Ward's going to be a lot more than Gipson was. I actually thought Gipson was going to get a little more than that. And so I think the 49ers got a good deal. He's definitely older at the end of his career, but I think it's a great move. He played phenomenal. He was probably the most underrated player on the 49ers defense last year. Just no one really talked about him. He played his ass off in coverage against the run. He was one of the top in the NFL. It's a great move. Hopefully 49ers go out and draft a safety and Gipson can play that mentor role for him this year. I think it's a fantastic move.
I agree. I think they should and will draft a safety because what the Niners need to do, the Eagles do it, good, smart teams do it, like really talented teams. Draft for next year.
Yeah.
Because you have one of the best rosters in the league. A lot of these rookies aren't good enough to start for you right away. But Tashaun Gipson's going to be a free agent next year, and he'll be 33. So draft a safety, sit him for a year like you did with Talanoa Hufanga, and then start him as a second-year player. That has worked very well for the 49ers in the past. I would feel very confident that they're going to do that this year.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love Gipson, man. He was a ball hawk. He had more interceptions. Honestly, you can make an argument. I mean, Huff played great in the beginning of the year. He learned his lesson about jumping those short routes.
Yeah.
And then he kind of backed off, and he was actually a little bit more quiet towards the end of the year. And Gipson became that guy, that ball hawk. He ended up with more interceptions than Huff. He was better in coverage than Huff. He played amazing. During the season, everyone was arguing, hey, we need to put Ward back at safety. And I understood that. But I was also like, but Gipson is playing really good. Like, how do you move Gipson off when he's playing so well? So I'm happy.
You talk about instincts. I feel like he has the instincts because he's in the right place at the right time to intercept passes, but he's not, playing hero ball, busting coverages, abandoning his assignment to make plays. That's what Hufanga was doing for a stretch of the season. Yeah. He was making plays. He was getting all-pro buzz. He started feeling himself. He was in the building. He was feeling himself. He started doing too much. He reined it in, played great. Down the stretch, he was playing like Gipson. Gipson has been doing that for a very long time. He knows he's the one with the instincts. Maybe they both do.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, it's called safety for a reason. So, jumping those short routes and making plays is great. But if you're getting burnt deep, you're not playing your position. So it looks like D'Amico got through to Huff, and it's going to be interesting to see what.
I'm surprised that D'Amico didn't make a bigger offer, or maybe he did. I don't know.
To Gipson, yeah, I thought Gipson was going to be a Texan. Maybe it's Ward that's going to be a Texan.
Perhaps, or maybe they're just going to go young over there and feel like, you know what, I got a 6-year contract. I don't need a 32-year-old free safety. I don't know what he's thinking, but I'm glad he didn't sign Jimmy Garoppolo. That would have been freaking ridiculous if his first move as head coach would be repeat Kyle Shanahan's mistakes.
He's smarter than that. He's smarter than that. Good for him. Yeah.
Good for him. Good for Tashaun Gipson. I think this will probably be his last year on the team, although who knows? If he has another good year, the Niners could probably bring him back on another 1-year cheap deal. What we got to keep in mind is next year, Talanoa will be up for an extension. And as we see with the Niners, they love their defense. They want to keep their defense together. He's looking like he could be a cornerstone of it, especially the secondary. So that's another guy they're going to have to make room for long term is Talanoa.
Yeah, this team is getting expensive. That's why this move with Hargrave, it's a right now move because this team is getting expensive. Next year, there's going to be some guys that have to go after this next season.
Yeah. What's the point of half stepping if you're already this deep and this committed to your roster? Like it feels like what the Eagles did last year. Now it didn't pay off in a Super Bowl win for the Eagles, but they came 3 points close. It was pretty freaking close. And honestly, that Super Bowl, we've kind of all written it off like, well, it's because Jalen Hurts fumbled. Yeah, I mean, it was whoever had the ball last with a minute left was going to win that game. Yeah. There was no defense in that game. And the only reason the Eagles lost is they got the ball back with like 10 seconds left. If they had a minute 10, they would have won. That's kind of the Super Bowl these days. Whoever has the ball last.
Yeah, and so the 49ers, they're making great moves. Hargrave's fantastic, but if they don't shore up the offensive line and if one of these quarterbacks doesn't prove to be a top-notch quarterback,
nothing matters.
Nothing matters.
You'll just be a contender. You'll just be another good story, another team that won. Yeah, another double-digit team, another great memories and a great ride, but ultimately not not the Lombardi. So
Yeah.
they're not done. It's a great start to free agency.